This is not going to have anything to do with the coronavirus epidemic. This is about another humor collection. Quite some time ago, I read a bunch of stories and essays collected by Ian Frazier. They were supposed to be, according to him in an introduction, not merely funny, but very funny, side-splitting renditions of humor. And that seemed promising to me. It turned out that I was shocked and upset by the book, ambushed, as it were. I wrote one of these essays about it. My displeasure wasn't because I didn't find some of the stories funny. I expected that. Comedy is naturally subjective. I hope it's not completely subjective, but it does depend on each individual's personality. Different things make different people laugh. Okay, that's a given. But Frazier's choices went way beyond that. More than a few of those choices completely mystified me. I liked some of them, but I certainly did not think they were funny. Labeling them comic seemed to me not only absurd and wrong, but also positively perverse. As I recall, some of them were riveting in their psychological darkness, as if something from Poe, and I rarely, if ever, found anything to chuckle about in Poe. Because I could not account for Frazier's inclusion of those pieces in a volume dedicated to humor, I was puzzled and disturbed by his book. I could not even imagine what he was thinking when he put it together. So it was with intense skepticism, and I might even say a touch of dread, that I picked up a book entitled The 50 Funniest American Writers, according to Andy Borowitz. I was not familiar with Andy Borowitz, but I was anxious, and I do mean anxious, to see what he considered to be funny. Was I going to get bushwhacked again by some of his selections, or would we share a laugh again and again and again? Unlike the Frazier volume, I did not find any of the pieces in the Borowitz book running completely contrary to my understanding of the comic sensibility. I did not find all of them funny, but that's just differing over a matter of taste. There are popular humorists who make millions every year in stand-up, TV, and movies, and I do not find them funny in the least. Many others do. That's the way it goes. I think there were more essays or set pieces in this book than stories, and I appreciate a story that can make me smile or laugh. I will mention only The Ransom of Red Chief by O. Henry. Sure, he stacks the deck all in his favor with the kind-hearted kidnappers, but I still draw a lot of humor out of that reservoir. As I was reading the pieces in the book, I made a couple of notes. One reads, "Identity is at the heart of humor. Sometimes it is in the lack of it, sometimes it is in the overwhelming presence of it. But I think that humor does not get rolling until identity, in some form or another, enters into the story." I felt that many of the pieces were not realistic. They were like abstract art. They were extremely artificial, with the speaker or narrator adopting a most unusual pose or manner, and from this the humor would flow. For me, they worked at times, and at other times they did not. Sometimes the humor was so cerebral that it evaporated like a vapor for me. I could see it, but I could not feel it. Maybe I'm just a Three Stooges kind of guy. I find that humor is often acting as a kind of leavening agent, working as against a gravity that is always trying to press it down. When the humor groans with its effort, I find it hard to laugh. There were several well-known authors in the collection, and why anyone finds them funny remains a mystery to me. And there were pieces where I felt, okay, I get the joke, but I don't really think it's funny, and there are 10 pages left to go. Happily, there were a good many pieces I enjoyed, like the one from The Onion, President Clinton deploying vowels to Bosnia. And for this I will say thank you, Andy Borowitz. You didn't even include a sample of the Borowitz wit, and I got a laugh out of that, too.